Humans only use 10% of their brain. Ah, yes, the classic myth that makes everyone secretly hope they're sitting on a secret genius upgrade, just waiting to be unlocked by a YouTube meditation video. The 10% of your brain idea sounds mysterious, scientific, and vaguely insulting at the same time. Here's the truth. You use all of your brain, every day, even when you're doing something that feels brainless, like scrolling at 2 a.m. through refrigerator cleaning ASMR. Modern brain imaging like fMRI and PET scans show that nearly every region of your brain lights up during normal activity. Some parts take turns depending on what you're doing, but none are just sitting there collecting dust. This myth started when early scientists said we only understood 10% of brain function. People twisted that into, so we only use 10%? Nope. You're already using everything up there. It's just multitasking too hard to make you telekinetic. Shaving makes hair grow back thicker. The myth that's kept teenagers terrified of razors and leg stubble since the dawn of puberty. Supposedly, shaving turns your smooth limbs into sandpaper overnight. It doesn't. You're just seeing what your hair actually looks like when it grows back blunt. Here's what really happens. Each strand of hair grows from a follicle beneath your skin, controlled by hormones and genetics. Shaving only cuts the part above the surface. It doesn't touch the follicle at all. When that trimmed hair starts growing again, it's lost its natural tapered tip, so it feels coarser and looks thicker. But the diameter, color, and growth speed? Exactly the same as before. The illusion happens because short, blunt hair reflects light differently and feels stiffer against your skin. It's physics, not follicle fury. So no, shaving doesn't make your hair stronger or angrier. It just gives you a temporary porcupine phase while your skin wonders why you did that again. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You've heard it since kindergarten. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day, usually said by someone holding a bowl of sugar disguised as cereal. But here's the truth. Breakfast isn't magically more important than lunch or dinner. It's just the first thing you eat after not eating all night. The myth started in the late 1800s when food companies like Kellogg's literally invented the slogan to sell cereal. It worked. Generations grew up thinking skipping breakfast meant instant failure. In reality, your body doesn't shut down without it. What matters is your total nutrition and energy balance over the day. Scientifically, eating in the morning can help with focus, blood sugar regulation, and mood, if you're hungry. But forcing down food when you're not doesn't turn you into a productivity hero. The importance of breakfast depends on your metabolism, sleep, and lifestyle, not marketing. So yes, you can skip breakfast. Just don't replace it with 3 iced coffees and call that balance. Humans only have 5 senses. Touch, taste, smell, sight, hearing. The big 5. They sound complete, like a neat little package of human experience. But your body is far more high-tech than that. You actually have dozens of senses. Scientists argue anywhere from 10 to over 30, depending on how you count them. For example, your sense of balance, the vestibular system, keeps you from face-planting every time you stand up. Proprioception tells you where your limbs are even with your eyes closed. Thermoception senses temperature. Nociception senses pain. You even have interoception, which lets you feel things like hunger, thirst, or that weird something's off feeling before a cold hits. So why did we all get taught 5? Because Aristotle said so, over 2,000 years ago, and apparently everyone just rolled with it. The truth is, humans are walking bundles of sensors. You're less a 5-sense creature and more a full-body surveillance system that occasionally gets fooled by 3D movies. Sleepwalkers shouldn't be woken up. You've heard it 100 times. Don't wake a sleepwalker. They could go into shock. That sounds dramatic, but it's pure myth. Waking a sleepwalker isn't dangerous, just awkward. Here's what's actually going on. Sleepwalking happens during deep non-REM sleep, when your brain is partly awake and partly asleep. The area that controls movement, the motor cortex, switches on, but the parts responsible for awareness and judgment stay in sleep mode. So the body moves, but the brain's still dreaming. If you wake someone in that state, they'll usually be confused, disoriented, or startled, not medically harmed. Their heart won't stop and they won't have a breakdown. They'll just wonder why they're microwaving their shoes. The real risk isn't waking them. It's not waking them before they do something unsafe. People have tripped, fallen, even left the house. So yes, it's safe to wake a sleepwalker. Just do it gently, and maybe don't film it for TikTok. Blood is blue inside your veins. Somewhere along the way, everyone decided that the blue veins on their wrist meant their blood was literally blue, like they're one bad day away from joining the Blue Man Group. Not even close. Your blood is always red. Here's why it looks blue. It's a light trick. Skin scatters and absorbs light in weird ways. Blue wavelengths don't penetrate as deeply as red ones, so when light hits your skin, the red from your blood gets muted and the blue light bounces back to your eyes. Your veins aren't blue. Your vision just says they are. Now the science: blood gets its color from hemoglobin, the iron-rich protein that carries oxygen. When it's loaded with oxygen, it turns bright red. When it's low on oxygen, like the blood returning to your lungs, it turns a darker, dull red. Never blue. So yes, the royal blue blood thing? Completely wrong. The only blue thing here is the myth itself, and maybe your lighting. Cracking your knuckles causes arthritis. Ah yes, the universal sound of human rebellion. Pop, pop, pop. And instantly someone nearby says, "Stop that, you'll get arthritis." Spoiler, you won't. Science has been very clear on this. Cracking your knuckles doesn't damage your joints, it's just noisy. Here's what actually happens. Between your finger joints, you've got a slick fluid called synovial fluid, which lubricates movement. When you stretch or pull a joint, you lower the pressure in that space and tiny gas bubbles form and collapse inside the fluid. That's the sound. Not bones grinding, not cartilage breaking. Just a mini bubble burst. Multiple long-term studies, including one where a doctor cracked the knuckles on one hand for 50 years, found zero difference in arthritis rates between his two hands. So no, your joints aren't wearing out. If anything, the only real risk is annoying everyone around you. The science says you're fine. Socially, maybe not, but medically, perfectly healthy. The tongue map is real. If you grew up staring at that colorful poster claiming the tip of your tongue tastes sweet, the sides taste sour, and the back tastes bitter, congratulations, you were lied to by your elementary school science teacher. The tongue map is completely wrong. It all started with a mistranslation of a 1901 German study by scientist D.P. Hennig. He noticed small differences in how sensitive different parts of the tongue were to certain tastes. But when someone translated it into English, they exaggerated those tiny variations into a full-blown map. In reality, your taste buds don't follow city zoning laws. Each taste bud contains 50 to 100 receptor cells, and every one of them can detect sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami. That's savory flavor found in things like soy sauce and aged cheese. The only difference is density. Some areas just have more taste buds than others. So no, sweetness doesn't live exclusively on the tip of your tongue. It's a full-mouth democracy. So yeah, turns out most of what we know is just science fan fiction. Your brain's not idle, your blood's not blue, and breakfast was literally invented by cereal ads. If that ruined your childhood a little, good. Hit subscribe, because being slightly less wrong is basically self-improvement.